Your ability to positively impact others comes down to a simple choice. It's available but elusive, and it could mean the difference between true success and significance or implosion and failure. I'm Dr. Wayne Pernell, and this is my Oxford Talk. My doctorate is in clinical psychology, and with a business background, I've been providing elite guidance for leaders for over 3.5 decades. From my experience in working with leaders at all levels across an array of industries, it's clear that personal and professional well-being comes as we create a culture of caring at home, in our businesses, and in the community. Igniting this begins easily, and the payoffs are seen quickly, growing further as you commit more deeply. Here's the quick concept, though certainly there's much more to explore. We humans want to be seen and acknowledged. We're validated when we're seen. In fact, the true value for lifting others is in how we demonstrate that we see each other. It's astounding how easy it is to miss the obvious. The things most needed are often simply overlooked, even by the people who should know us the best, our parents, our teachers, or other influential authority figures. Oh, sure, we all get a few things wrong along the way. When we focus so heavily on achievement, we miss something essential. We miss it at home. We miss it at work. And as community leaders, we often miss the very thing that can make us even greater. Unfortunately, far too many organizational leaders get more than a few things wrong along the way. Some are more judgmental than curious, creating a culture of fear, which is antithetical to engendering a culture demonstrating true connection. This is important to consider as we become observers of our impact on others and decide to become more potent leaders in the world. We each affect the lives of others, whether we're aware of it or not. And therefore, the onus is upon each of us to step into that leadership role at home, at work, and in the community so that we do not unwittingly create a culture of fear which we might mistakenly interpret as one of respect. What if instead of creating a culture of fear, of judgment, of people feeling as though they were deemed unworthy or inadequate, what if instead of that we chose another path, choosing to be a little more deliberate in how we acknowledge others? When we engage deliberately, actively, and positively, only then can we create a culture of caring. Let's dive into that a bit. A culture of caring presupposes two key ingredients. First, that there is a culture. And second, that caring is a core value woven throughout that culture. Certainly, a significant amount has been written about this topic. Suffice it to say, then, that culture can be defined as the beliefs and way of life or customs ingrained in a particular population. Every organization, be that a business or family, has a unique culture. Developing a culture is a deliberate act, and in the mid-1980s, a broad recognition of that concept swept through major organizations. At its core, the primary focus and desired outcome of studying organizational culture was upon creating a sense of belonging. As I noted earlier, it's truly astounding how easy it is to miss the obvious. It's why coaches with an outside perspective are so valuable. If you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. Over the past few decades, I've been privy to the very earnest declarations of senior leaders who shared their myopic moments with me, oblivious to the notion that connection and belonging is what increases productivity and profitability. One leader paraded through the halls with a red file folder, confiding in a whispered tone, "Oh, the file folder's empty. They just have to think there's something in it." Another memorable moment of myopia occurred as a leader shared his viewpoint on cross-team collaboration. Of course, I'm willing to collaborate. If they do things our way, we'd collaborate just fine. And this leader was serious. We had some work to do. Certainly, cultures steeped in fear and backstabbing are antithetical to those based in building positive relationships. While both cultures are effective at raising the bottom line, at least initially, turnover from the disillusioned or disenfranchised who leave their jobs costs companies millions of dollars in recruitment and training. We've seen the grand departure of team members from some major companies as their culture shifts. Why the exodus? We humans want to be seen and acknowledged. Gallup's recent guide on employee engagement noted that emphasizing positive communication, focusing on well-being, and having strengths-based conversations makes all the difference in whether an employee feels a part of the company. As leaders, our approach needs to focus on engaging with others in a way that helps them feel a part of versus apart from. The perfunctory inquiry of, "Hi, how are you?" isn't going to cut it. "Hi, how are you?" "Fine. Good. Good." And then what? No one really feels heard or seen. This kind of brief interchange is devoid of value. No one comes away better for it. Building a culture of caring implies something more deliberate. A culture. The beliefs and customs ingrained into your particular population, the one that you engage with as an individual, begins with creating those customs. It's important to create a connection, a human connection, no matter how brief. What might it mean to the other person to know that they've been seen? The message must become, "I see you," before, "Hey, how are you?" A while back, I ran a small niche hospital with 120 team members. Drawing on management guru Tom Peters' work from the 1980s, I scheduled what I called a DOTF, a day on the floor. It was something I'd do multiple times each month. I'd ask my line staff to put me to work. They'd direct me in their daily activities, and during our time together, making beds, mopping floors, or wiping walls, I'd learn about who they were and what they did when they weren't at work. I'd learn about what mattered to them. I'd listen to their concerns, and with my limited resources at that time, I did my best to make sure that they knew I had heard them. This kind of engagement embodied the concept of, "I see you," before, "How are you?" And that's the key. Building a culture of caring is both subtle and deliberate. It means that as a leader at home, at work, and in the world, you choose to care. You have to choose to care. When we connect meaningfully, we demonstrate that we care and that we see and encourage other people's growth, acknowledging the other person. Greater meaningful engagement builds greater meaningful engagement. Creating a culture of caring builds your bottom line. And in my 30+ years of elite coaching, I see this kind of exponential success all the time. A profit and profitability shouldn't really be the motivation for caring, but they're beautiful byproducts of caring about your team members and your customers. As cursory of an interaction as it may be with those you meet, might you connect to hold that beat of I see you. Try these steps, the ESN method. First, if not culturally inappropriate, hold eye contact for a beat of 2. 1, 2. Next, smile. From numerous social psychology experiments, we know that facial mimicry is automatic. That means that we humans tend to reflect the faces we see. If we're deliberate about the face we show, that is, if we choose to smile genuinely, that will be reflected back. Psychophysiological studies show that mood states change as facial muscles change. That is, smiling actually creates an elevation in mood. So, start with eye contact. 1, 2. Smile. And then, if you know it, use the other person's name. There's so much more to building culture than those 3 steps, but the ESN method, eye contact, smile, name usage, it's a great start. It's the catalyst for even further growth, opening the door for a culture of caring that values I see you before how are you. Once you see someone, truly see them, asking them how they are becomes a much deeper and much more meaningful question. Be prepared to listen. Sometimes just listening to concerns is enough. We're each growing, changing, and evolving. I see you, human to human acknowledgement, is vital to your family, your business, and to your significance in the world. We can and must be responsible for lifting as we lead. This isn't about anyone else because we starts with 1, you. Choosing to care starts with 1, you. And building a culture of caring with a foundation steeped in personal accountability also starts with 1. Start today. Start now.